So what are some of the core principles of then a good dating profile?
Yeah.
Like what's going to get the most matches?
The most important thing is just having quality photos. So photos that show what you look like, that are clear, that ideally showcase some of the ways you spend your time. If you don't have good photos, especially the first couple, even if the rest of your profile is A+, you're dead in the water. There's nothing a woman isn't even going to see it because your first profile picture comes up. If it's not good, then it's an automatic no. She's not even going to swipe down. So if your first picture is good, okay, she's going to look a little further. She's going to read your prompts. Are you giving her information about you? Are you living a life that she would like to join or participate in? If yes, then she might say yes. But even then, you're still one of many in her queue. So how are you going to stand out next? Your messaging. Can you send a message that is going to be different than everything else she's seeing? Hey, how was your weekend? I think you're beautiful. Are not messages that are going to stand out because she has literally dozens of guys saying those same things. So you need to look for something unique, creative, fun. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. I tell guys, look for themes that you see in profiles often: pizza, dogs, travel, and come up with a few versions of messages off of those that you can send. And even then, you send a message, maybe you get a response. You are still one of many, and so it's important to keep expectations low and not get too invested. That's a common
And what about the
thing I
bio?
see.
Like what do you write in the bio, the about me?
Yeah. So you want to give just enough information for her to want to know more. Something I see guys getting wrong is they treat it like a resume. They're trying to communicate all of their accomplishments and all of these exciting things that they have done. And this is not the place for it. You just want to give her little bits and pieces. You want to keep it lightweight. You're not being so serious. Or as a help wanted ad, I see often, I'm looking for a woman who is kind and generous and with a good sense of humor. It's like, you're not speaking to anybody because you're speaking to everybody when you say something so vague like that. Your profile shouldn't be about who you're looking for. It should be about who you are, and she can decide if you're going to be a good fit.
And how can you tell if your pictures are good?
Are you getting matches?
But how many matches should you be getting a day for it to be good? Like, how do you test these photos?
Yeah. So I would actually take it a step back, and before you even put your photos on your dating app, you can post them on your social media. Like, do they get likes? Or people like, damn, Jack, you look great in that photo. Probably a good one for you to use online. There's also a website called Photo Feeler that you can upload photos of yourself and people rate them across multiple dimensions. I think it's like attractiveness, trustworthiness, something else, successful, like how you're perceived in that photo, which can be directionally helpful. I sometimes will have clients who are like, well, I put it on Photo Feeler and this photo got the best results. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you that's not the best photo and to use that one instead. So you have to take that a little bit with a grain of salt, but it can be somewhat helpful.
That's so interesting. But this is a massive tangent, but that reminded me of a business idea that I wanted to start before I started working with you, which was split testing everything. And so you could create an account on this website, and then maybe you get 10 cents for every response that you place, but it could be a response about which title is more clickable for a YouTube video, which thumbnail is better, which picture of me is better, what should I name my child? How should I ask out this girl? What's the next message I should send in this chat log? And then you could allocate a $10 budget and get 100 responses. And you could, as a person that puts your responses, you could be paid 10 cents for just answering simple questions. And then you have split testing universalized. Thank you guys. I'm taking investments, by the way. But yeah, that's interesting. So Photo Feeler.
Yeah. But ultimately, you're going to get your best answer aside from, are you getting results online? Because there could be other things wrong with your profile that are tanking your results that you're not aware of. But ask women. If you have women in your life, friends, like, hey, which photo is better?
They're not honest. Like every single time. Sometimes where you go and you ask a woman, like, what do you think of these photos? It's going at it from the wrong perspective because if you ask them, they've already friend zoned you. You're not asking someone who you're interested in dating where they're like into you.
I mean, like ask your sister.
But that puts them in a different category of just like, oh yeah, this is a great photo of you. Oh, I love that. But it doesn't get any matches.
Don't ask your mom.
Meanwhile,
No, don't ask your mom. But if you have a sister or you have friends who are girls, like I would like to be brutally honest with me. I feel
I'm
like
not going to be brutally honest. I
or
feel like
your friends
don't
have sisters. I feel like they would.
I think
If you said, hey, look, like be completely honest. I have no egoic attachment to whatever you say.
Is this a
I
good
just want to
picture?
know, yeah, like what is most effective.
You're not asking like, am I good looking?
Yeah,
it's like, is this photo bad?
It depends on how you frame it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or come to me and I'll tell you because I'll give you the brutal truth on if your photos are good or not.
The first photo has to be just a nice, clean picture of you.
Yeah.
The second photo should be you doing something you enjoy.
Yep.
Preferably like a physical activity.
Yeah.
Third photo has to be a group photo with no more than like 3 to 4 people where you're in it. And then another photo of just you clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fifth photo could be maybe you and an animal.
Have you taken my course?
No. See, but I used to get so into... Like, this was a long time ago, obviously, but like dating profiles and Tinder. And I would optimize every little thing. Like I'm just as analytical about like title thumbnails. I used to get about everything, whether I was posting ads for real estate or on a dating profile. And I would A/B test different pictures, see how many matches I would get overall, optimize for that, help friends do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And we all together, there was like 5 or 6 of us, we'd all like exchange like, oh, this photo worked well for me and I'm trying this photo. Like we would get so into it just from an analytics standpoint.
Yeah. And that's honestly what it takes. When I'm talking to clients, I'm telling them, okay, we have to A/B test this and we're going to need to see what works and then adjust accordingly. A lot of people, I mean, with anything in life, want to just throw it up and have it work and be done with it and think they should get results when, as you know, with anything, whether it's a title or a thumbnail or an online dating profile, it usually takes iteration.
What would you say is the most ridiculous dating app story you've heard from a client?
I mean, this didn't happen on the apps, but I had a client early on. And so this was when I was also, now I've heard so much. Like you really can't take me by surprise, like with a crazy dating story or like with just thinking something odd that I'm like, what? Where'd you get that idea? But I had a client who came to me and he had moved to the US. He'd been here for a few years from China and he was online dating and he was meeting women and he came to me and he was very frustrated that he wasn't getting results. And I was like, well, what do you mean you've been going on these first dates? And he said, well, my friends say that they get filet on the first date and I never get filet on the first date. And I was like, what? Well, first of all, stop calling it
that's the word
he was using.
Okay.
That he was using.
Okay,
and I was like, huh? Okay. Like, and he's like, and then he went on to tell me this story that this woman who he met online, she told him that she wasn't very comfortable with physical touch early on. She'd had some trauma around it, but someone had told him that in order to come off as an alpha male, you had to insert yourself physically. You had to make physical contact. And I was like, oh no. So like, she told you she didn't want it, but you had this advice. So what did you do? He's like, well, I put my arm around her. I'm like, no, like, what do you mean? This is the same client. Yeah. So that's, I feel like, one that I'm just like, you are being told exactly what to do. This woman is telling you what she's comfortable with, and you're ignoring it because of bad advice you heard on the internet.
I got a good story for you. I got one success story for dating profiles. A buddy of mine who we would be testing with wasn't getting any matches whatsoever. I did all of his profile pictures, all of them. And the first one, I thought I would Photoshop. And I Photoshopped, I'm sure I have the picture somewhere. We could hopefully put them up on screen. I Photoshopped him on a unicorn. And his hands are out like this, and he's creating a rainbow with his hands. And that was the first picture. And it was so ridiculous that I thought, everyone's going to at least stop at this photo and read your profile because of how ridiculous it is. Sure enough, he got a match. He's now married with kids from that photo.
Wow. That is a good story. That's a good success story.
What do you think about eye-catching things like that in your profile? I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like on Hinge, you can put videos, and the first video is a guy going, wait, don't swipe left. Like, first of all, I have something to say to you. And then you can, give them your spiel or something like that. What do you think about stuff like that? Just trying to be way outside of the norm?
I think it's smart to try, especially because there's just so much noise on apps. And as I've been saying, for men, the problem is, how do I stand out? So if that helps you stand out, which it can, and gets women to at least pause and look at everything else, then I say go for it. Ultimately, like it's how it is with photos or trying something outlandish like that, you just have to see what works for you based on where you live, who you're trying to attract, what you look like. All of those things affect it. So what works for one guy might not work for another guy. So it really is about iterating.
What would you say are the biggest mistakes men make on their profiles that turn women off immediately? I have a few examples here. Bland bios, fish photos, mirror selfies, only group photos, and lying about height.
All of those. The fish photo I knew was going to come up. That's always a common one that guys are asking me about.
Why does everyone have a photo of them holding a fish?
I think it's because it just happens to be when men take photos. Men aren't taking that many photos of themselves. So then if they're on a fishing trip with their buddies and they're like, I got this sick fish, someone's like, I got to take a photo of it. So it just happens to be the photo that they have, which is often how men are putting together their profiles anyway. It's just, can I cobble together 6 photos of me? And that's not the right approach.
You know what's so funny? I'm thinking of the female equivalent of that, and I remember it just being 2 things: bikini photos and photos at Coachella with a big group of girls. And they're all wearing really revealing outfits. And that's like the female version of the dude like taking a photo with a 6-pack.
Yeah. Although, are men complaining if a woman has a bikini photo?
I'm just trying to think of the commonalities, like the thing you overwhelmingly see. And then I remember the other one in the bio that I would say maybe like 15-20% of women had was, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
There's so
was
many.
So common. Is that still a thing?
I don't see a whole lot of that, but that might be like well overdone now. But I see a lot of common threads. Like one is, first round is on me if it's a prompt on Hinge. And then it's like, it's with your card. Like you see that all of the
Really?
time. Or it's, I would never say that. And like the amount that exists is incredible. It's like these women are talking and all coming to the same conclusion that they need to use that as a response.
Wow. Yeah, there's, and the other common ones like, I love to travel. So vague, so boring. You shouldn't like go out with me if your family runs 5Ks on Thanksgiving. That's like one that people think is like silly and I think is stupid. But that's the thing. Women can have profiles, as you discovered.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I had a client who, it's funny, guys often do what you described, where they make a profile as a woman because they want to see what it's like. I had a client who told me he used a photo of a tree as the first photo and still got like hundreds of matches, which is ridiculous.
Well, I remember it being a thing where you would just swipe on every profile because it wasn't worth your time to go through and like analyze
Not a good
every single
strategy
thing.
if you're listening to this.
It's what, to swipe on everybody?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's going to teach the algorithm something. So I'm not going to say I'm like the algorithm expert and like how to optimize it, because you're better off like not trying to optimize the algorithm too far. Just like make a great profile. But every person you're swiping on, you want to maximize the people who are saying yes to you also. So if you swipe on all these people and nobody says yes to you, that's telling the algorithm something. They are going to show your profile to then lower quality women who are also not getting enough matches or not getting many matches in hopes of finding a pairing.
So there is a hidden ELO on dating apps.
I don't have insider information, but from what I have witnessed, yes.
You talk a lot about showcasing authenticity versus marketing. How can you effectively market yourself on a dating app and show that you're being authentic without oversharing or maybe just like saying too much?
So a dating app profile should be lightweight, fun, and flirty. It's like I said before, it's not your resume. You are just giving her enough information to say yes. And then you're going to get to know each other a little more via text. But then ultimately, you want to aim for getting to know each other in person. So how you are going to market yourself there is pick a couple things that you are passionate about, that you are into, that resonate with you, that you think a woman might be able to connect to. So maybe you are into rock climbing or you love pickleball. Like highlight one of those things in your profile so that a woman can see that and be like, I also like that thing. This could be someone who I have things in common with.
What about being too tryhardy on a profile? Like, do you see that a lot, and how big of an issue is that?
I wouldn't say I see it a lot, but is an issue. That goes back to like the person who makes the video that's like, stop right here, listen to me. Like that can come off as too tryhard. If you've, perfected every aspect of your profile very clearly and you have all these professional photos done, sometimes that looks a little like, okay, you have nothing else to do. Like you clearly women aren't swiping on you if you've gone to these lengths. So I will say when I look at somebody's profile, I do try and strike a balance between, okay, effort has been put in here, but it's not so curated that all 6 photos are professional photos. It's okay to have a couple. In fact, I encourage clients to do a professional photo shoot so they can get a couple good photos.
Let's say you get the match, you have an opener. Is there an opener that a lot of people use that they just need to stop using?
Hey.
Yes, definitely that
How was
one.
your weekend?
Yeah, those
You're beautiful.
all of those.
Good morning.
Okay, so don't be too complimentary in the beginning, or just don't be too brief.
I would say don't be too basic. Like that encompasses all of those things. If you're saying something that everybody else is saying, then why is she going to choose to respond to you?
Dude, this is unlocking so many memories for me. I remember our highest response rate was quoting rap or Drake lyrics or any popular song at the time. And it was Drake rap lyrics that got the highest response rate.
You know what I like about that is it's easy to respond to. You have, especially if you share part of the lyric and it's a song that's popular and she's definitely going to know, it's super easy for her and like almost tempting to just complete the sentence. For instance, even asking her like, what'd you do this weekend? Not only is it basic and boring and she's heard it 100 times already, but she just has to now like, oh, I did this, this, and this. It's not interesting. And it requires actually more effort than completing the lyric. And you're really, with that first message, just trying to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.